All right, let's get straight to it. If you're a Kansas City Chiefs fan, you have every reason in the world to be optimistic heading into 2025. I know, we've seen a lot of ups and downs lately. Rashee Rice's legal issues have raised some serious questions. The wide receiver room still isn't locked in, and there are always those folks who doubt whether the dynasty can keep rolling. But let me tell you something. According to a recent breakdown by Sports Illustrated, the biggest reason for optimism is staring us right in the face, and it's not just about who's lining up at receiver or how many draft picks hit. It's about this team's identity. It's about knowing that as long as number 15 is under center, the Kansas City Chiefs are never out of the conversation. The article points out something every fan deep down already knows. This team has set a new standard in the NFL. It's no longer about chasing one great season. It's about building a culture of winning, year after year. And that culture starts at the top with Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. The rest, it fills in around them. Now here's where it gets really interesting. Despite the questions surrounding Rashee Rice, and we'll definitely talk more about that in the next chapter, Sports Illustrated still highlights the Chiefs as a team to beat. Not just because of talent, but because of structure, because of confidence, because of that championship DNA that's been built over time. So let me ask you this. Do you think the Chiefs will make it to the Super Bowl again in 2025? Drop your take in the comments. I want to hear where your confidence is right now. And hey, if you're loving the content here on Total Chiefs News, make sure you're subscribed. We're pushing for 4,000 subscribers, and every single one matters. Hit that like button too if you think 2025 could be another banner year for Kansas City. All right, up next, we're diving into the man who makes it all possible. You already know the name, but you might be surprised by just how much he still has left to prove. Let's talk Patrick Mahomes. Let's talk about the engine that powers everything, Patrick Mahomes. I know it almost feels like stating the obvious, but sometimes we need to step back and appreciate just how rare this guy is. According to Pro Football Focus, Mahomes earned an elite 90.0 grade in 2024, his sixth season in the NFL. That puts him in the same category as some of the greatest single-season performances we've ever seen. But here's the thing. For Mahomes, that's not an outlier. That's his standard. Think about that for a second. In a year when people questioned the Chiefs' offense, when wide receivers were dropping passes left and right, and the headlines were more about who wasn't stepping up than who was, Mahomes still managed to lead his team to another Super Bowl. That's what elite quarterbacks do. That's what separates Mahomes from everyone else. He's the kind of player who elevates the guys around him. He makes average receivers look good. He turns broken plays into game changers. And most importantly, he brings a calm, confident energy that you can feel across the entire roster. It's not just about stats with Mahomes, though his numbers speak for themselves. It's about belief. When he's on the field, everyone in that stadium believes they've got a shot. Now, let's add Andy Reid into the mix. This duo has built something that's not just hard to stop, it's hard to replicate. Consistency like this, it doesn't just happen. It's the result of leadership, preparation, and an obsessive drive to win. Even with new pieces coming in every year, Mahomes and Reid are the constants. That's why no matter how messy things might look on paper, like the wide receiver situation or defensive turnover, the Chiefs still feel like the safest bet in football. Let me throw this one at you. Is Patrick Mahomes already the greatest quarterback in NFL history? Yes or no? Let me know in the comments. And no, it's not too early to ask that. Before we move on, don't forget, if you believe in Mahomes the way I do, hit that like button. And if you're new here, make sure you subscribe to Total Chiefs News. We're on the road to 4,000 subscribers, and with your support, we'll get there faster than a Mahomes deep ball. Next up, we'll shift gears and talk about Rashee Rice, the talent, the controversy, and what it means for the Chiefs in 2025. All right, let's get into the most unpredictable part of this offseason, Rashee Rice. No one is denying his potential. In fact, some believe he could become the most dynamic wide receiver Patrick Mahomes has ever had. but that potential is now tangled up in serious off-field issues that could dramatically impact his role in 2025. Let's rewind a bit. Rashee Rice had a breakout rookie season. He led the Chiefs in receptions and receiving yards and was Mahomes' most trusted target outside of Travis Kelce. That's not something you see often from a first-year receiver in Andy Reid's complex system. He was efficient, explosive, and showed flashes of being a true WR1 in this offense. But now, we're in wait-and-see mode. The article from Sports Illustrated mentions that while Rice's legal situation is still unfolding, his case is ongoing, and a potential suspension is very much on the table. The big question is, how long will he be out, and what does that mean for this offense? Here's the thing. If Rashee Rice is available for most of the season, this wide receiver room looks a lot more dangerous. With rookie Xavier Worthy coming in with blazing speed and veteran Marquise Hollywood Brown now in the mix, suddenly you've got a three-headed monster that could give Mahomes the most complete WR core he's had in years. But if Rice misses significant time, that puts pressure on those new guys to step up fast. And we all know how tough it is for rookies to build instant chemistry with Mahomes. That's why Rice is such a critical piece in all of this. He's already proven he can be the guy. Now it's just a matter of availability. So here's a question for you. Should the Chiefs be aggressive and add another veteran wide receiver just in case? Drop a yes or no in the comments. Let's see where Chiefs Kingdom stands on this one. And hey, we're not done yet. There's still a ton to be excited about, especially when we look at what Brett Veach has done to reinforce the roster. If you're enjoying the breakdown so far, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. We're pushing for that 4,000 subscriber milestone, and every Chiefs fan counts. Up next, how the Chiefs are building for now and the future, and why that might be the smartest move of the entire offseason. Let's give some credit where it's due. Brett Veach has been playing 4D chess while the rest of the league is still figuring out checkers. Year after year, the Chiefs managed to stay dominant and build for the future. That's not luck. That's Veach's vision in action. One of the biggest takeaways from this offseason, and something Sports Illustrated really highlighted, is how the Chiefs have done more than just patch holes. They've made strategic investments for the long haul. Look at the draft. Grabbing Xavier Worthy, who brings Tyreek Hill-level speed back into the offense, and offensive tackle Kingsley Suamataia, who's raw but loaded with potential. These aren't just roster fillers. They're guys who could be key starters by 2026 or sooner. And it's not just the draft. Free agency brought in Marquise Brown, who's still got plenty of juice and fits perfectly in this offense. He's a short-term play, sure, but the upside is real. Even defensive moves, like keeping Chris Jones locked in, show the Chiefs are balancing win now with stay competitive for years. This is where the Chiefs set themselves apart. They aren't mortgaging the future for one shot at a ring. They're building a dynasty the right way, with smart contracts, development pipelines, and elite leadership. That's why you see them in the AFC Championship every single year. They're not just reacting to problems. They're staying ahead of them. Think about this. How many teams have completely rebuilt a receiver room, reloaded the offensive line, and still walk into training camp as Super Bowl favorites? It's not normal. It's not supposed to be possible. But Veach, Reid, and Mahomes have made it feel routine. Here's something to debate. Is Brett Veach the best general manager in the NFL right now? Sound off in the comments. I want to hear who your top 3 GMs are and where you rank Veach. And real quick, if this level of front office brilliance gets you fired up like it does for me, do us a solid, like the video, and subscribe to the channel. We're gunning for that 4,000 subscriber mark, and your support helps bring more Chiefs fans into the fold. Next, we'll close things out by talking about what truly separates the Chiefs from every other team in the league. Something deeper than talent or playbooks. Stick with me. All right, let's bring it home by talking about the thing you can't measure on a stat sheet, the culture. Because when you really boil it down, that's what makes the Kansas City Chiefs different. That's what turns talent into trophies. We've seen it across the league. Teams stack talent, sign big-name free agents, make flashy trades. But when it matters most, they fall apart. Why? Because culture eats strategy for breakfast. And in Kansas City, the culture is built on accountability, consistency, and a commitment to the standard. Not just from the top guys like Mahomes or Kelsey, but from every single player on that roster. Think about what Rashee Rice is going through right now. In a lot of organizations, that situation could create division or chaos. But in Kansas City, they've built a locker room where guys step up, lean on each other, and keep the mission front and center. The vets lead by example, and the young guys learn fast, or they don't last. You see it in how the team responds to adversity. Whether it's injuries, off-field drama, or a tough loss, the Chiefs never panic. They adjust, they improve, and they come back stronger. That's not just coaching, that's culture. That's years of doing things the right way and expecting everyone who wears that jersey to rise to the occasion. Even when the offense struggled last year, the defense took it personally and stepped up. When the receiver room was getting heat, Mahomes never threw anyone under the bus. That trust, that buy-in, that's what wins in December and January. So here's the final question I'll leave you with. What do you think is the biggest reason the Chiefs keep winning? Is it Mahomes, the coaching, the front office, or the culture? Drop your take in the comments. I'll be reading. And hey, if you've been rocking with me through this whole breakdown, you already know what to do. Hit that like button, and if you haven't,